Hello, Education 200 and Education 581. Welcome. Just in case you're wondering why I said two sections or two classes, that's because this is a cross-listed course. Um, 200 is our undergraduate section, 581 is our graduate school section. There is a slight difference, one major thing between the two courses. I will talk about that at the end to the 581 students, but by and large, I'll probably just do one video, and anything I need to tell the graduate students, I will say at the end. Um, Few things. One, I am recording this from my home on a Saturday, and I'm laughing at that because there's a lot of activity going on below on the next floor down. So if you see me happen to look because I hear something like this, I'm next to the stairs and I might hear someone running up and down. So what a pandemic. That's all I can say. It's just one of those things. So I do want to give that disclaimer. Also, before we get going, I will do one of these videos every week. We are an asynchronous class. That means we do not have a meeting date. This class will run Monday through Sunday every week. I post things up weekly. I will give you one of these videos every week. I'm going to estimate, I shoot for 20, 25 minutes. There is a chance, though, that I could go over. I'm a very talkative person, but I do try to. 30 is usually the most I try to go. Today might be a little longer because of the time and um, the going on in the overview. It may even go under. I don't know. We'll see how it goes and how I'm progressing. Also, I've learned one thing, just like in the classroom, when I make a mistake, I push through. I'm going to do the same thing with these videos. After a year of this, they're never perfect. I know that. I think I don't know if I have I guess a face for radio to begin with, but I do like putting these out. And since we're asynchronous, I think it's important. But I just go through it in one take. So with all that being said, I'm Dr. Allen. Some of you actually I know because you're my advisees. Some of you I've met on campus. This is a fun class. You do need it, obviously, most of you for your progression towards juncture. We'll talk about a few things. I'll talk on these videos every week about things. But today I just want to give you an overview on everything. We don't have anything major to do this week because it's ad drop and I don't know if anyone's coming in. But with all that being said, I'm talking a lot. Why don't we just share the screen? And here we go. Alrighty. The number one thing that I have to acknowledge is, I know most of you have probably seen the emails and such. We are using Brightspace for this course. I know a lot of you are probably familiar with Sakai. I have no problems with Sakai, but Shepherd is ditching Sakai after this semester, and a lot of professors are going ahead and making the switch over to Brightspace, which is what we're going to start using in the spring. Everybody, I'm part of that crowd. I'm just going ahead and making the switch, but there is a chance you could be using both. In another class, you could be using Sakai. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. We are Brightspace. And before we even get going, I wanted to show you something. When you go to get to Brightspace, if you don't know, you should have had an email from the college with some links. The College Center for Teaching and Learning actually has a lot of information on like student navigation of Brightspace. And you are always welcome to email me or stop by my office and ask how to get around Brightspace. But if you're just wondering, and I'll show you how to kind of get where everything is in our section. If you're wondering, hit Brightspace right here. And it should just take you to the login. I'm already signed in, but when you get to the login screen, all you have to do, it's your email, login, password, or your Sakai login password. They're the same thing. So once you get in there, you'll be there. For us, for 581, just to kind of give you the heads up, I'm just going to jump in the 200 section, but I'll tell you the difference when we get going. But by and large, again, the work is all the same. This is actually a pretty fun class. I think it's the foundations of American education. I'm a social studies person, so it kind of has a little bit of social studies aspects to it. So I've taught it a few times now, and each time, I tweak a few things, but I think it's actually a pretty fun class. Again, we're going to go, our week is Monday through Sunday. If you look here, here's the course announcements. I don't have anything up yet, but I do operate and use these announcements a lot, and anything that's on the announcements will go out in an email. But if you can't find something in an email that I sent, it should also be an announcement, and you will probably start getting a few of those next week. Please, 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 please read them. I know sometimes you get inundated with a lot of emails from a lot of courses, but if I extend something or there's an error on something or someone catches a mistake, I send it out on this. Also, the other thing is I should give this disclaimer. I'm also still learning Brightspace. So if you can't find something or you don't think something's posted or something's not right, email me. It's probably not you. It's probably not Brightspace. It's probably me. So don't forget to do that. With that being said, most everything you need for this course, you'll be able to find under content. So once you, oh, by the way, you need to hit this little waffle thing usually to find your classes, but most everything you're going to need is under content. I'll go over the assignment for the first week here in a minute, but first I want to touch base on the syllabus. Syllabus is always going to be here. You can get it anytime, and it's right there. And as you can see, there's my office hours. I will warn you, most of the time I am always on campus when I can be. I will definitely be there during my office hours. I do have some student teachers this semester. I tried to keep Friday open to do a lot of that, but sometimes things happen where I have to go out and see them during the week, and they may overlap with my office hours. If that happens, I will send the class an email and say, hey, I won't be in my office, but if you need me, we can meet on Zoom, or I'll be on campus at this time, or anything like that. So, but by and large, I should be there during those hours. I am not going to go through the honor code and everything too much. This syllabus was sent to you all. You're welcome to check it out. You do have some prerequisites for this. You should have already had Education 150 and English 102, or up through 102. I'm just going to give you a quick summary on the description itself. Basically, we're going to be looking at the building blocks for American education. A little bit of history, a little bit of philosophical, some of that you'll get into the 320 and such, but this is, kind of the course. There is a book, and actually it's in my car as I'm saying this, but you should have the book Taking Sides. That's going to be the heart of our discussion board. And I'm going to talk about the discussion board here in a few minutes. But you should have the Taking Sides book. It's there. If you need it, the bookstore should have it. And of course, Amazon's fine. Just make sure you get the 19th edition. That's the edition that we're going to use, and the articles should be in it. Or if you get another edition, make sure that you go online and see what articles are in the 19th edition. There's the objectives. I'm not too overly worried. You can check all that on yourself. I'm not going to reread all that. Attendance. We're online. I will tell you this. I'm usually a pretty flexible person. I understand life gets in the way. So if, again, we work, as you can see here, we'll be looking, I got to change that date, but it should be the 23rd through the 29th, Monday through Sunday. If something happens or something, you're going to be late, email me and say, hey, can I turn this in on Monday morning? Usually I'm pretty cool with that. The things that throw me off, and I'm not always a big fan of, is if someone didn't turn something in and it's been like a week, it's been 2 weeks, it's been 3 weeks, and I haven't heard anything. That's when points start to get taken off and such. Or if there's no sort of contact, or if it's a habit. But by and large, 1 or 2 times, I'm usually pretty easy to work with and things like that, and flexible. So it is 5 points off officially, though, with everything that is turned in. But again, if you give me some heads up, sometimes, we can work things out. The next thing, I don't think cell phones will be a problem. Your assignments itself. Sorry, my phone just went there. I'm going to move that. I talked about cell phones, and I heard something pop on there. Maybe the cell phones will be an issue. Anyway, educational philosophy. You will need to do an educational philosophy statement. It's a 3-page paper, just kind of establishing your ideas. I'll put some examples up on Brightspace this week for you. They're not up there at the moment, but just to kind of give you an idea as to what to expect within it. It's your ideas. It's your philosophy as far as what you want out of education and what you want to do as a teacher. There'll be, like I say, I'll put materials up that kind of get you to help you shape that. I'm not looking for anything. It can be deep, obviously, but I understand you're just starting your educational journey, so you're still forming things. But I want you to kind of establish, what you want your educational philosophy to be. Like, are you going to be student-centered? Are you going to, is there a teacher that influenced you? Things like that you can talk about. 3-page, double space. And yes, if it's like 2.5, that's fine. I just kind of want to get an idea of what you're, what's shaping you and wanting to be a teacher. Is it content oriented? Is it working with students, directly with students? Is there a particular grade? Like I say, is there an experience? We'll kind of elaborate on that. The next thing that I definitely want you to know about this class, you have 10 hours. And I'm going to repeat that. You have 10 hours you have to do out in the field for this class. And you're probably saying, whoa, I'm in an asynchronous class. How are we going to do that? It is not actually student teaching. You have to volunteer basically somewhere that has an educational aspect to it. I'm going to talk a little more about this next week. I do have a survey up to kind of get an idea of what people want to do, but I will tell you this. Boys and Girls Club always needs people. So I mean, if once I kind of get an idea who wants to work for Boys and Girls Club, I can contact him. Tutoring, public schools are always looking for tutors. I know of 2 elementary schools that have already asked me if I have any tutors. I can refer you to them and give you the emails if that's what you're going to be interested in doing. A local private school, it's a Catholic school in Martinsburg, actually contacted me and said, do you have any volunteers? We need people to help with homework in aftercare, or just run programs and play kickball and stuff with students. That all works. If you do the private school, they have a little, you have to do a little like half an hour like thing with working with children. I won't get into it, but I mean, I'm sure if you've seen the news, I'm sure you might understand why that's important. And actually that's something that most schools do at this point too. So just to give you the heads up, but they contacted me and needed hours. I'm open to, if you know of anything that's a tutoring opportunity that is in a school that you might want to do. I will say things like tutoring a brother and sister do not count. It has to be something that is a voluntary basis. Sorry, a loud car just drove up my road. It needs to be something education based, so we can look at it on an as needed basis. If you're in 581, I know the question that's already going to be asked, hey, I work in a school, does that count? No, but sort of can. If it's straight up teaching, no, it does not work. This is actually not supposed to be a teaching assignment. If you're working with a club in your school, or you're doing something after school that you're not getting paid for, like I've had people who did running clubs, that counts. So again, we can check all that out, but you do need to do 10 hours. There is a field log. You have to log them in, and I do need this, and you do have to write a reflection paper, which is due at the very end of the semester. I'm going to do a separate video on this next week. Actually, it'll be probably a lot of what I talk about at the beginning of the week 2, but I just want you to be aware you have to do some sort of service learning for this class, and it is 10 hours. I have a questionnaire up. You can complete it, and I kind of want to get an idea of what everyone's thinking they can do, so kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Next thing, there's the essay. We're going to do a video. We're going to do a discussion board. I'm going to use Flipgrid only because we're asynchronous, and I want people to be able to see each other and talk to one another. It's going to be 10 issues from Taking Sides. That Taking Sides book has different issues, and I'll kind of do the prompts and all, and we don't have one due this week. We'll talk a little more about that next week, but I'm going to show you something. Flipgrid has kind of altered how you log into things. So one thing about Flipgrid and how you log in, you need a user ID. I've actually posted those. Since they weren't passwords or anything, I don't think it hurts that everyone sees what other people's usernames are. I'll show you where those are so you can get those and go forward. We also have something called the History of Education assignment. That's pretty straightforward. Starting next week, you're going to see a link to something called Edpuzzle. You have to watch those videos and answer questions within them. The videos are about 10 minutes long, maybe 15 minutes long, and you answer questions within there and it scores you. The questions are not hard. It might be something pretty straightforward. And if there's an error on a question, excuse me, hiccup. If there's an error on a question, just email me. I make these on the Edpuzzle, and it's a little unique technology, and just tell me. And if the question's phrased wrong or poorly, I'm flexible on it. We're going to talk about something also due at the end. I'm going to have you pick an education topic, and I'll put something up on Brightspace so you can kind of get approval for it. Again, this isn't up yet. I'm still building the Brightspace. I'm making the transition too. But I want you to make like a timeline on it. So it could be something like, you know, civil rights and education. And you could do something like with Brown versus Board of Education. If you're going before Plessy versus Ferguson, I mean, that's just off the top of my head. And if you haven't used Padlet, I wanted to kind of give you an idea how to use that. But that's another assignment that we're going to do. As we get a little farther in the class, this isn't this, these are not, this will be kind of post midterm. We're going to have an education theorist discussion board. That is not Flipgrid related. You're just going to kind of respond to some questions that are on there, and we'll talk about some of the theories and such. And there is a midterm and final. There'll be multiple choice, and they'll be posted up on Brightspace. They're not supposed to be anything that is devastating, or, you know, it's just to kind of go with it. It's on Brightspace. You'll be allowed to use the resources that you have and everything like that. So again, it's not something that I'm looking to pass or fail. Well, obviously it is a pass-fail, but it's not something that I'm looking to fail anyone on. That's it as far as the class. And there's our outline. Again, we go Monday to Sunday. Starts on that. And as you can see, this week, the only thing you're going to have to do is post on the Flipgrid, and I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. But the video discussion is right there, and that'll be week 2. That'll be our first Flipgrid that you do in response to the taking sides. And then you're going to do a Ed puzzle next week, and I'll do a little more of a crash course on how to use that with the video next week. And then as you can see, the Ed philosophies do and such. This course content tab, I'm going to kind of scroll back up. This is the key, because when you hit this, this is week 1. And again, I'll fix that so it says 23. Actually, I'm going to do that right now so I don't forget. Boom. All right. As you can see, each week when you log in here, I'll have something up here that tells you what we're going to do. We're going to talk about syllabus, how to get in the Flipgrid, and your hours, which again, your hours, that's just, think about some educational activity you'd like to do. I have some, and I might send out I'll have a survey up this week for you to kind of answer. I can't guarantee that you'll have anything, but it kind of gives me an idea of who I need to contact. Make sure you check the syllabus out and watch this video as your assignment. Complete intro on the Flipgrid and your questionnaire. And you're saying, well, where do I find all this? Well, that's the beauty of this. If you look here on the content, the questionnaire is right there. You'll be able to just click right there, boom. And when you do, there's the questions. Whoops, of course, it went back. Let me go back. And as you can see, the field log is there if you want to check it out. I also created another tab. Glad I actually said that. The weeks will be here, but as I get things like the field experience, I'll probably just have something that says field experience that you can use. If you look here also, it says screenshots. These are your Flipgrid usernames. When you go to Flipgrid, I'm going to send you an invite, and it's going to ask you for a username. I'm going to click on these right now. If you look, everyone's is there, and there's your username. And you will have you've already been registered for it. I already put you in the class and everything. If you want to respond to people, that's fine. For this first one, just a quick intro. I already did one. It's just like, hey, I'm Dr. Allen. I am a social studies teacher, former social studies teacher, and I'm looking forward to teaching everyone in this class. All I'm looking for you to do is just kind of give me, what are your interests? What's your hobbies? What's your content area? Is it elementary? Is it art? Is it music? Is it social studies? Is it science? Is it, you know, math? Whatever. And, you know, kind of go with it. So we kind of know a name with a face. It doesn't have to be anything overly long. Let's go back. Whoops. Of course, now I'm all over the place. That was dumb. This is what I talked about, like with headaches. I'm right back in it. That's why I say don't stop. Just, you know, they'll never be perfect. Your name's there, and I actually did put the screenshots like where they go to. So here's the link to the Flipgrid. You can just go ahead and click that, and it'll take you right to the Flipgrid. And it will probably ask for your username, and that's what those screenshots are for. And Whoops, let me go back. Flipgrid. Let me see if I can go back. Well, let me take me back to my Brightspace. It does. Whoops, and that needs to go because that's for another class. Look at that. I'm finding all types of craziness. Boom. We'll delete that. You don't have to worry about it. That is the class this week. It's just do an intro on Flipgrid, check out the syllabus, make sure you have your Taking Sides book. But just to kind of give you an overview, everything that I have, like for the discussions and stuff, there'll be links here for you to do it. And that's what that Flipgrid's for. But if you ever need the discussion board, you look, it's right there. That intro, that's right off of the discussion board. So it's also here. When we start to get into, and I'll probably rename this, but the educational philosopher discussions, that'll be here too, but that's not due yet. The Ed Puzzle links will also be in content. Next week is really when the rubber meets the road. Your quizzes and your midterms and all will be there, but again, I'll have links and assignments. So as long as you can get to the content page, you should be all right. But if you have any problems, please don't sit on the problems, email me or stop by my office. That is the important thing. So this week, I'm gonna go back. You really only have 2 things that you really need to do. Well, 3. You need 1, kind of fill out this questionnaire. It'll take you like 2 seconds. What you're interested in doing. There is another, so if you have an idea of something that might work, just put it on there. I do have your name, so it kind of gives me an idea of what everyone's doing. Go to the Flipgrid, do your introduction, and finally, make sure you check out the syllabus. That's the class right now, at least this first week. And get used to Brightspace. I would definitely recommend doing that. Again, we work Monday to Sunday. Sunday, 11:59 p.m. It's the whole time. 12:01 Monday to 11:59. So I guess there's that 1 minute every week that is like lost. So sorry, the system wouldn't let me set it up any other way. That's kind of it for you all on Ed 200. Again, if you have any questions, contact me. 581, if you could hang on for just 1 second, I'm going to show you all something. Ed 200, catch you later. 581. I'm going to go ahead and pull your stuff up. Hopefully your class is here. And I just wanted to show you, you all have 1 extra assignment that you have to do. You still have to do those hours. And like I said, if you have something at school that works, that's not in the classroom that you're doing voluntarily after school or something, that's fine. Let me know though, so we can get the verification. You will need someone to sign off on it. Of course, you can contact me. But the other thing you have to do, because you're in a graduate course, you have to do one other thing, research oriented in this class. What I want you to do, I want you to research, and I should have the pay. I'll post something up on the 581 with a little more detail, but you need to do a research on a major theorist in education. I'm not going to be picky. It can be Bloom, it can be Gardner, it can be Piaget, it can be Bruner, it can be Pavlov, it can be someone a little more modern. I like a guy named John Hewitt. He's fine. You know, anyone that you're interested in. Needs to be 8 to 10 pages APA. It will not be due until the end of the semester, though. Actually, I'm sorry. I'll take that back. I believe it is Thanksgiving week. I need a little bit of time to grade them. Let me look. Paper. Yeah, there it is. It's the 14th. They're due on the 14th. I do need a little bit of time, and this has actually got a lot of people in it for a graduate class, so I want to make sure I do that. I will get you a little more details on that as we progress, but I just wanted to make you aware of it. So that's really the major difference between Ed 200 and 581 is the research component, which is understandable. It's a graduate degree. So I'll post some stuff up there. You'll see something under here with like research paper, like APA. I would start to familiarize yourself with APA if you haven't already. So with all that being said, that's it. I hope everyone, I'm going to stop share, has had a great week, great summer, and I'll talk to you all next week. Bye.